This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Macklin here in Manchester. Matt, it's fight week, it's for return. It's Smith-Eubank Jr 2. As I asked Johnny earlier, first simple question, repeat or revenge?
I mean, I think Liam's a pretty solid favourite going into this fight because of the manner of the victory last time. Not just because it was so conclusive, but because I think that was probably the one ending people didn't expect. Even people that thought Liam were going to win, thought he was going to win, a 12-round decision. I think most people thought it was going to be a decision either way. I don't think anyone saw an early finish. This time, I think Liam's got to be a fairly solid favourite going in.
What do you expect Junior to try and do differently? Obviously, we know he's teamed up with Bomac. Do you expect that to make any difference into the rematch?
I don't think so. Eubank is the finished time. Maybe he might have a tactical or a fresh bit of a mindset going in. I don't know, but he is who he is. Do you know what I mean? It's he's just from his point of view. If you're Camp Eubank, you need to get your tactics right. You need to the game plan's kind of key really. I thought last time trying to outbox Liam just didn't work. It didn't work, and I didn't think it was going to work if he did that. I think Eubank, in my opinion, has always been a much better fighter than he is boxer, and I think if he's gonna win this fight, he needs to make it a fight. I think if he tries to outbox Liam, he'll come a cropper.
How difficult can that be though, going in against somebody like Liam Smith and trying to make it a fight? Because we know Liam himself, he will not back down from somewhat of a war, shall we say?
Oh no, and there's no. By the way, I'm not saying if Eubank makes it a fight, he's going to win, but I think he's got a better chance of winning. Because if you look at both, that was Liam's first fight up at middleweight. Where Eubank has boxed at super middleweight. So from a physicality point of view, you'd have said that Eubank had the advantages physically, but he didn't. He didn't make it a fight where those advantages came into play. So I think this time that's what he needs to do. Whether or not that's enough remains to be seen. But I think that from a tactic point of view, that's what he should be doing.
Obviously, the question is, if Junior was to lose, does he continue with his career? Does he retire? We know that kind of Ben fight will always be there. Eddie and Frank and everybody said openly they still have every intention on trying to make a Ben Eubank fight, regardless of what happens on Saturday night. But if, say, Junior was to lose this fight and he was to be in a similar fashion as to what the first fight was, do you think he should consider stepping away from the sport?
If he was to lose in the same type of fashion, then definitely, because you've always got to look at your health. He always had a really solid chin. He got beaten the way he did with Liam first time round. If he got done again, then it wouldn't be an outrageous conclusion to think his punch resistance is shot. And if that is the case, then I think he should definitely retire. But if it's a close fight of the year, split decision, then he's not going to retire. They'll probably do it again. So it just depends on the manner of the defeat.
Mark Heffron and Jack Cullen is an interesting fight, a very 50-50 one. Is there a side which you slightly favour?
I think bar the main event, this is the best fight on the card. I think Heffron's the favourite. But certainly it's not beyond Cullen that he could win it. Heffron's been stopped before, but it's a great fight. Bit of everything in this one.
Fraser Clarke and Dave Allen as well. Your take on that one, please, Matt?
Yeah, well, look, I think Fraser, the experienced amateur career that he had, and he's mature, isn't he? He's 30, 31, but he's the fresher of the two. He did retire, didn't he, Dave Allen? So I think he'll have a few tricks and he'll be able to mess Fraser about a little bit, give him a few problems to solve. But I think that Fraser will work him out and get the job done.
Just sticking with the heavyweight division as well, Matt, I was going to get your thoughts on this past weekend. We saw Alexander Usyk defeat Daniel Dubois to retain his unified heavyweight crown. Simple question again, I'm sure everybody's asked you so far. Did you think it was a low blow?
Look, it was borderline. Do you know what I mean? I think it was on the waist, wasn't it? It wasn't in the private area, but it was probably in the bladder, which is still a low blow. I think if Usyk hadn't have gone down, it would have just been a case of keep him up. I don't even think he'd have stopped action. The ref would have just said keep them up, but he did get down. So then the ref's got a decision. He either starts counting, he either thinks it's a legit shot that's above board and he starts counting, or he stops the action and gives Usyk time to recover.
I asked Johnny this and I'll ask yourself as well. Was you disappointed at all when Usyk did rise that Daniel maybe didn't put his foot on the gas a little bit more, find that extra bit of pressure to hurt Alexander whilst he was trying to recover in those initial minutes after he rose?
Sorry, say again.
Was you disappointed at all that maybe Daniel didn't put his foot on the gas a little bit more when Usyk rose whilst he was still in that recovery period?
I think he probably thought the moment had gone, and I think he thought, right, it was a 12-round fight, and I've got to pace it.
Just moving forwards with that, if you're Tyson Fury, you've watched that bout, what do you make of that?
Look, I think Fury was always confident of the fight. I think he always realised it's a tricky fight, and it still is. It's, a box of tricks, isn't he? He's very mobile, hard to pin down. It's a hard fight. Tactically, it's a difficult fight. Speed, all that type of thing. But I think Fury's up to now, anyway, has proven himself to be the #1 heavyweight in the world. I don't think that's changed.
Matt, the heavyweight division's always going to be a talking point for us, and sticking with it. Obviously, last week we heard the news that Robert Helenius had returned a positive test. He stepped in to replace Dillian White, who had returned a positive test. What was your thoughts on hearing the news of Robert?
It's just getting out of hand, isn't it? But then if they're not handing out severe punishments, bans, where's the deterrent? There isn't one, is there? As things are in boxing at the minute, just globally, where's the deterrent? Where's the deterrent not to do it? Pick a slap on the wrist or 6 months ban. People aren't boxing for 6 months anyway, so there's no deterrent.
Matt, why do you think there has been so many positive tests being returned recently?
For that reason, there's no deterrent. Maybe the testing's better. There's more testing. So people are getting caught out more, which is a good thing. But it's a bad thing that people are doing it. But people are doing it because probably they think everyone else is doing it, and there's no deterrent. They think, well, I don't want to be at a disadvantage, and then people, So I think a lot of people aren't necessarily trying to cheat or get an upper hand, but they don't want to be at a disadvantage. And if they're paranoid, thinking everyone else is doing it, it's going to end up like the cycling.
Zhang-Joyce 2, a matter of weeks away as well, Matt. Do you expect repeat or revenge in that one?
Sorry?
Zhang-Joyce 2, how does that one play out?
I don't know. I mean, it was pretty conclusive last time. I think Zhang's a good fighter, man. He's massive, compact, can crack. Listen, that fight against Hrgovic in Saudi, he was probably unlucky there. So I think Joyce has got it all to do, because I think with Joyce, what you see is what you get. That said, I think mentally he'll be a lot more prepared for what Zhang has. Maybe last time he was probably looking past him a little bit.
And just a final one, Matt, before we wrap this up. Canelo versus Charlo is again a matter of weeks away. Do you give Jamal Charlo much of a chance stepping up 2 weights to face Canelo?
Look, a slim chance. Good fighter. Canelo's a lot of miles on the clock, not getting younger, but I don't know. He hasn't really shown. I know he lost to Bivol, but he hasn't really shown too many signs of deterioration. So, tough fight for Charlo, I think.
Right, Matt, I appreciate your time now. I'm sure you've got other duties with Sky to take care of, so thanks for speaking to me. I'll speak to you again later this week.
Nice one. Cheers.